All right, let's get right into it. We hear all the time that bees are in trouble, right? But today, we're going to peel back the layers, go way beyond the usual headlines. We're looking at a hidden biological war, a real evolutionary crisis that's happening right now, inside beehives all over the globe.
Okay, to really wrap your head around what honeybees are facing, I want you to picture something. Just imagine, you've got a parasite stuck to your body. And this thing, it's the size of a dinner plate. Seriously, you can't get it off. It's just there. It's heavy and it's feeding on you, constantly. Horrifying, right?
Well, that nightmare scenario, that's not some sci-fi movie plot. That is the actual, day-to-day reality for the Western honeybee. I mean, it's a miracle they can even get off the ground with a burden like that.
So who is this dinner plate parasite? Let's unmask the villain. We're talking about the single biggest, most destructive threat to honeybees and to beekeeping, period, worldwide. Its name is Varroa destructor. And get this, the name literally means destructive mite. I mean, they couldn't have named it better. And it absolutely lives up to that name every single day in millions of hives all around the world.
Okay, so if we're going to figure out how to fight this thing, we've got to understand how it attacks. And here's the crazy part. For decades, pretty much everyone, we're talking seasoned beekeepers, top scientists, had it completely wrong. For years, the story was simple. Every textbook, every guide said these mites were like ticks. They latch on and drink the bee's blood, which is called hemolymph. But then, some game-changing research out of the University of Maryland just blew that idea out of the water. The science is crystal clear now. They aren't drinking blood. They are eating the bee's liver.
So this organ, its scientific name is the fat body. And honestly, that's a terrible name. Fat body makes it sound optional, like it's just some extra tissue the bee could do without. But that could not be farther from the truth. It's not just fat. It's an incredibly complex, absolutely vital organ that works almost exactly like our own liver.
So what does this superorgan actually do? Well, think of the fat body as the bee's central command center. It's filtering toxins like pesticides out of its system. It's the bee's pantry, storing up all the energy reserves it needs to make it through the winter. And this is the big one, it powers the bee's entire immune system. So when a mite is eating the fat body, it's not just a wound, it's a complete, catastrophic system failure.
But wait, it gets worse. The physical damage from the feeding, that's only half the story. See, scientists call this mite a dirty needle, because while it's eating, it's also injecting a whole cocktail of nasty viruses and diseases right into the bee's body.
And this just sets off a deadly domino effect. The mite chews up the fat body, which means the bee's liver fails. Then, with no liver, the immune system completely collapses. And just like that, the bee is wide open, totally defenseless against all those viruses the mite just pumped into it. And we're not talking about one or two viruses here. Right now, we know of more than 20 different viruses that this one mite spreads. It is a walking, crawling, viral superspreader.
The most notorious of these is probably deformed wing virus, or DWV. This is what creates what beekeepers grimly call a zombie bee. The bee is born with these tiny, shriveled, useless wings. It can't fly, so it can't forage for food or defend the hive. It can't do any of its jobs. It just stumbles around, becoming another mouth to feed, draining the colony's precious resources, all while being a little virus bomb. So all of this begs the big question: why? Why are our bees so completely helpless against this thing? And the answer, the real root of the problem, is something called an evolutionary mismatch. They are just biologically unprepared for this fight.
I mean, think about it. Bees deal with other pests and problems, but this one parasite, it just wrecks them. Why is that? What makes this one so different? The natural balance is just gone.
Well, this timeline really lays it all out. You see, Varroa didn't start out with our bees. It originally evolved alongside the eastern honeybee over in Asia. For thousands and thousands of years, the two of them were locked in this evolutionary arms race until they basically reached a truce, a state of balance. But then, only about 50 years ago, that mite jumped ship. It jumped to a new host, our western honeybee, a bee that had never seen it before and had absolutely zero natural defenses.
Let me put it this way. Our bees have been thrown into a war they never had a chance to train for. They've missed out on thousands of years of evolutionary homework that would have taught them how to fight back. They are, quite literally, in a state of biological shock.
But it's not all doom and gloom.
There is hope. And the real long-term sustainable solution, it doesn't come in a bottle of chemicals. It's already there, written right into their DNA. We just have to help them find it.
This solution is a specific genetic trait called Varroa sensitive hygiene, or VSH for short. Think of it like a superpower. It's this natural, built-in behavior where some bees can actually detect and deal with the mites right where they do the most damage, inside the capped nursery cells where new bees are growing.
So how do these little bee detectives actually pull this off? It's incredible. They can somehow smell or sense the mite's offspring growing under that wax cap. So what do? They chew open the cell, they pull out the infested baby bee, and they haul it out of the hive. Now, it's a brutal, sacrificial act, but it works. It completely stops the mite's reproductive cycle in its tracks.
And that right there, that's the goal. By carefully and selectively breeding bees that have this amazing VSH trait, we're doing more than just treating a pest. We are actively helping our honeybees catch up on thousands of years of evolution in just a handful of seasons. We're giving them back the tools they need to fight this war themselves.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about. When we do this, are we just treating a simple pest problem, or are we doing something much bigger? Are we actually helping an entire species hit the evolutionary fast-forward button, giving it a fighting chance to survive?